Hi, it's Tash from Foxes and Brown Bears Tarot, and today I want to do a review of the Friends Tarot cards. Could I be any more excited? No, because Friends is one of my all-time favorite shows, and I love tarot, and therefore two of my loves are colliding into one perfect little package. So super exciting. Now there are a few walkthroughs already, so I thought I'd actually just do a review instead, okay, just so I can have my own little slant on this deck. So first of all, it does come in this lovely little box. It wasn't actually wrapped, which concerned me initially, but then the cards were shrink wrapped, so it was fine. And it's just a little open top box, really cool. It feels really nice and matte and beautiful. It is a gorgeous deck with the you can see the different characters on the sides, published by Smith Street Gift, and it is created by Chantel De Sousa, and super cute little box. Now it doesn't have a booklet, and so that's possibly the only issue I really have with this deck, because even though I'm a really strong Friends fan, there are a few cards where I can't quite place the particular episode or the reference that it's making. And so that would have added a little bit more to my enjoyment of the deck. What it does come with, however, is this little card telling you how to use the deck. So just the shuffle, spread, read, reflect. All right, so looking at the cards, and the backs are beautiful. I absolutely love the backs. They are gorgeous. So it's the door frame on Monica's front door. And they do have these white borders, but I actually like the borders on this deck, largely because it kind of gives you that 90s feel. And I think it's just perfect with this deck. So it's probably one of the very few decks where I actually like the white borders. It is okay cardstock. It's slight gloss, but it's largely a matte. They shuffle really well and slip together. They don't clump together. I mean, it's finish, but I'm okay with that. It doesn't bother me at all. And what I do love about this deck though already, and you'll see this as I go through, is I love the artwork. I love the style of artwork, and I love the colors that are used throughout. And so really cool. It's kind of that bright color, but also some pastel-y colors mixed up. And anyone who's been watching my channel would know that those are my two favorite things in decks. So let's begin having a look at it. So I'm going to discuss the majors first, and the majors are pretty much just a mix of different characters. So you have Rachel depicted twice, and so these are the two cards that show Rachel, and Temperance is great. I love that. So they're really good little cards, and Temperance and High Priestess. You then have Chandler is shown 3 times. So you've got him in Strength, you've got him as the Hanged Man, and you also have him as Judgment. And I have to say that I like these, but I particularly love Judgment. Judgment's one of my favorite cards in this deck, because I feel that Chandler's always the one calling people out, making the witty jokes, kind of saying what we're all thinking, and I think that's is a really cool choice for this deck, for this card. All right, so Phoebe actually turns up 4 times, which is kind of cool. So 2 of them are as the Magician and the Chariot. Love her with her cab as the Chariot. That is super cool. And the other 2 cards depicting Phoebe are Justice and the Sun. And I love both of those because Phoebe's always the one who's really into fairness and people being treated right and things like social justice. And also she's the cheery one, so the sun works really well. But look at those colours. Aren't the colours beautiful? That card has the most gorgeous colours ever. Alright, so Joey's only depicted twice, and that's the Fool and the Devil. Both of these are great because, of course, Joey is that happy-go-lucky person who potentially doesn't come across as the smartest cookie in the tin. And so great depiction with the Fool. I love that the goose made it in. The chicken would have been cool too. And the Devil is just an awesome depiction because Joey there, of course, is the ultimate player. He's the seducer. And, of course, you've also got that added temptation of pizza. So, really cool depictions of Joey. Monica features the most times in the majors. So, she comes up 5 times. The first 2 are the Emperor and the Hierophant. Now, I love her as the Empress, because of course she is the nurturer, the feeder, the person who makes sure everyone's okay. She really is the mother of the group. But also works as the Hierophant because of course she's the one who wants everything just as it is. She's got very clear rules. Nobody changes anything. She decides where things go. She decides how things are done. And so it's quite a rigid approach, so that works really nicely. The other 3 cards that she turns up in are the Moon, the Star, and the World. And yeah, I really like those cards. I mean, great colors, great depictions, and yeah, really, really cool. Nice to see an inside picture as well. Ross only turns up twice, and they're probably my least favourite depictions. It was a bit sad because even though Ross gets a lot of hard press, I actually really like Ross. So I'm not sure about him as deaf, unless it's signaling all the death of his relationships, who knows. But definitely, I mean, in terms of the Hermit, I understand that because he's a seeker of knowledge, he's a scientist. And so that makes sense to me. Okay, now Ross and Rachel do feature once more, so that kind of takes them up to 3 because they are the lovers. And I love this because their relationship is really the karmic relationship in the series. And I know a lot of people don't love their relationship and see it as quite problematic, but I feel like it's that relationship where they're just meant to be and they've just got all these challenges to constantly overcome. They have to overcome their own personal flaws, but ultimately this is the ultimate relationship in the series. Then you also have Ross and Monica appear in the Wheel of Fortune. So that's kind of cool. And I guess that kind of makes sense too, because they're the ones who sort of bring the group together because they each have brought their own friends in. So that's kind of how the 6 of them are together. So I feel like that's a good choice. Then you have Richard as the Emperor, which is a really cool choice. And then you have their apartment building as the Tower. And that works really nicely. However, I would have loved to have seen Rachel potentially dropping a whole pile of cups or plates with Gunther looking aghast at her. That would have been really cool. Because one of the kind of sad parts of this deck is that there is no Gunther. And I love Gunther. So, yeah. So they're the majors. I think they all work really well. Really like them. Alright, so in terms of the suits, I'm not going to do like a full walkthrough of these. And first I'm going to look at the 1 through to 10s. So the cups are all to do with Phoebe and her relationships. And so my fave cards, I'll show you my faves. So the 10 of Cups is my favorite really, because of course you see her marrying Mike, and it just, everything ends happily. So that's a perfect card in my opinion. I also love the Two of Cups, because that's her and Mike again. And I love the lobster there, because of course she has this theory that everybody has their own lobster, and this is the person you're meant to be with for the rest of your life. And clearly in this card, she has found her lobster. So I love this card. It's probably my favorite in the whole deck. And I also really like the Three of Cups, because that shows her friendship with Rachel and Monica there. And that's a perfect celebratory Three of Cups. Now I have, I'm uncertain about some of the choices for Phoebe's suit. And three of them that I'm really uncertain about are these three. Because I think she comes across as much cheerier than this in the TV show. So I might just be missing the references here. And obviously she always is faced with those issues of, does she go with Mike or David, and having to make decisions about kind of selling out her beliefs in order to earn money at times. And so there are real challenges for her emotionally. But I still need to think about these cards a little bit more. So yeah, but they're beautiful. I love the depictions. I love the colors. I love the artwork. I mean, that is one gorgeous card. And yes, so just to give you a quick, I'll just lay out some of the other cards as well, just so you can see them, although there are some walkthroughs on YouTube already. So there you got the 7, the 6, and the 9. Love the 6, the nostalgia with David. So that's kind of cool. And then you have the ace as well. And that's perfect. So all the aces in this deck don't have images on them, but this is just a perfect depiction of an Ace of Cups. All right, so the suit of wands is all about Rachel and Ross. And my favorite card is the 10 of wands. It's really cool. That's the exact outfit she actually uses when she goes back to work after having had maternity leave. And she's finding it really hard to balance it all, having to look after Emma, having to try and just hold on to her job and prove herself capable of still working as hard as she used to. And so this is the perfect choice for the 10 of wands. I love it. Another card I really like in the wands is the 5 of wands. And that's a reference to the football game they have in Thanksgiving, where they get super competitive. And so Monica and Ross end up missing dinner and everything because they just won't let go of the ball, and it gets quite hairy there. So very competitive. So they're great choices. I actually love all the wands in this deck. I like all the choices. So just in random order. There's the 2, the 4, and the 9. Love those 3. They're really great. So Rachel kind of looking out, planning to make something of herself. Perfect 4 of wands with Rachel and Ross dancing there in the moonlight. And I really like the 9 of wands as well, because it's the resilience of modern Homo sapiens. And of course Ross is the sort of battle-worn person with the 3 divorces under his belt and quite a lot of challenges. So I really like that. And the others are really cool as well. So there you can see the 7, 8, and 6. Like that, that's the episode where she loses Marcel and she has to protect him from being taken away by animal control. So that's a really great 7. The 8 of wands in Central Perk, and great 6 of wands as well. So great choices. And finally, I've got the ace and the 3. And once again, great depictions of those particular cards. All right, the swords are all about Monica and Chandler. And my 2 favorite ones are these 2. So the 10 of Swords. I love all the 10s in this deck. They're so well done. And so I think this is Chandler being rejected by Kathy. And so he was really into her and bought all these gifts and like was really keen. But then of course she ended up cheating on him and he was heartbroken. And the 4 of Swords with Chandler listening to his Lionel Richie, which is really cool. So they're my 2 favourite swords. Now I am uncertain about one of the cards here. So I'm uncertain about the 5 of Wands. I can't think what that refers to. And because even though I'm a super fan, I actually haven't watched them in the last year. And I just can't recall this particular episode. So I'm not quite sure what's happening there with Chandler. And I'm assuming that's Phoebe. So yeah, uncertain about that one. But the others are really great. So show you a few. So there you've got, I'm thinking that's referring to the stakes that lost Monica her job. And Chandler kind of having to move away from the career he was in to find something that feeds his soul more. So perfect 6 of Wands. And of course 9 of Swords, because Monica's always quite angst ridden. So yes. So great choices. And a few others. It's either the 8, 7, and 2. So there you can see Monica in her diner. Well, when she had to take a fairly low-paying job where she had to wear stuff she didn't want to wear. So, yeah, so cool depictions. And, of course, the ace is just really simple, really effective, great colours. Right, the Pentacles are all about Joey. And my 2 favourite cards in the Pentacles suit are the 7 and 8. And the 7 to me is just perfect because he's got this dream and he's working towards it. And he has to just let it happen. It's going to take time. He's got to wait for it to develop. And including having to be a butt double. So fabulous. The 8, of course, is him refining, honing his acting technique. So using his smell the fart technique there. So a really great little card. And I love all the Pentacles. I think they're all really well done. And so here you can see the 10, the 9, and the 6. I don't know why I don't have these in order because I've just been looking through them. And so really great. And Joey's a great choice for Pentacles because, of course, it's all about like trying to develop that career and it's all about money. He's always the one struggling for money and so it's a great one. But also showing his generosity when he does finally make money. So it's a great little choice there. A few others. So you can see some of his struggles. I'll show you all his struggle ones. So they're really cool. Really good choices. And then you have just simple ace and a great 3 of Pentacles of him on stage. Collaborating. Alright, so then I'm going to go through the court cards. Now the court cards are kind of cool because they follow the same idea. So with the swords you have, of course, Monica and Chandler again. And so what you have is you got the page, which is Chandler in his bunny suit, and then you got Janice. So they're really cool choices. So it's looking at his other relationship, his most long-lasting relationship, really. But then it culminates in the Queen and King actually being Monica and Chandler together. And so they're great little choices there. I really like that. Okay, when it comes to the cups, of course, this is Phoebe. And so it's Phoebe with her previous relationship. So that's David. And so great little choice. He's a perfect Knight of Cups as well. He's just perfect. He's just that sort of person. And then it culminates in Phoebe and Mike ending up together. So great choice there. And she's just a perfect Queen of Cups. just who she is. Pentacles, of course, with Joey. So here you see him in his department store job, trying to sell eau de cologne or something. And then you have his relationship with Kathy. So that was one of his earlier relationships. And then, but ultimately, his most serious relationship was Charlie. And so this is, of course, an interesting one because he's the only person really who doesn't end up married or together permanently at the end of the show with anyone. And so, but Charlie, I think, was the one that he really resonated with the most in that sense. So that's really cool. Really good choice. And she's a great Queen of Pentacles because she is very much about her career and she's quite a grounded person. And then the Wands, of course, were Ross and Rachel. So here you've got Ross Spudnik and, of course, his wife, Emily. She's a perfect Knight of Wands because she was quite a fiery personality. So that's really cool. And, of course, it culminates with him and Rachel coming together. So that's a perfect choice there. And the only thing I would have loved in this is if that had been the hairless cat that she bought. That would have been really cool. But yes. So that's the entire deck. Not in order, but I think I kind of wanted to organize it in a way where I could talk to it a bit more thoroughly. It's, as I said, it shuffles super well, like just really slides together nicely, and really recommend this deck. I think it's an absolutely great deck for anyone who's a fan of Friends. I mean, if you've never watched Friends and you're not that keen, then yeah, maybe this isn't the deck for you, but you can still read it because it is still very Rider-Waite-Smith. So it's not something that you can't read if you don't know anything about Friends. But I think this is one that will be particularly enjoyed by Friends fans. And I have to be honest, I bought this as a novelty deck. I bought it because I am such a fan, and then I thought it'd be kind of cool just to have. But having looked through it and worked with it a little bit, I actually am going to use it as an actual deck because it reads really well. It is really well thought out. And even those couple cards I'm uncertain about, I can still read very clearly. And what I love about it are those choices for the court cards, because I think that actually they spot on, they work really well, and ultimately it's a great deck. So thank you for watching my review. Hope it was helpful, and I'll catch you next time with something else. Take care.